the Jewish Federations of North America, David Heller.
I want to begin by expressing my deep gratitude to each of you. This has been a year like no other. Together, we have achieved incredible things, raising close to $1 billion for the Israel Emergency Campaign and maintaining the strength of our annual community campaigns. Your dedication, your compassion, and your resolve have kept Jewish life flourishing both here and across the globe. For this, I am deeply grateful. In addition to our vital work at home, I want to keep the war in Ukraine top of mind. Many of us have personal or ancestral ties to Eastern Europe, including Ukraine, where vibrant Jewish communities once thrived. Since the Russian invasion began, the consequences have been staggering. Over 10 million people have been displaced, making this one of the largest humanitarian crises since World War II. And yet, amidst this hardship, we've mobilized to bring hope and aid to those in need. Through our historic partners, the Jewish Agency for Israel, JDC, World Ort, and with the invaluable work of Chabad and so many others, we've been able to coordinate essential resources, food, shelter, medical care, and secure passage for those seeking refuge. Thousands have even made Aliyah, building a new life in Israel. So far, we have raised and allocated over $90 million, reaching more than 500,000 people. With our help, 180,000 Ukrainians have been able to find safety here in the United States. This is what collective action looks like. This is the power of unity. Despite the war and its devastation, a robust Jewish community remains in Ukraine. There are JCCs and Hillels, Hebrew schools and day schools, signs of resilience that give hope for a future where Jewish life in Ukraine can flourish. It is this future that we are working to protect. Just as we support Jews wherever they are in the world. But as winter approaches, we know the challenges only intensify. Cold weather brings suffering to those lacking electricity, heat, food, and medical care, all of which are dangerously in short supply. Russia's continued targeting of Ukraine's infrastructure has made survival a daily struggle for millions. Our help is still needed more now than ever. We have seen what we can accomplish together, but work is far from over. Our continued mission is to support existing infrastructure and to inspire hope. This means investing in education, in mental health, in a cultural resilience, helping people maintain a sense of normalcy in the face of unimaginable disruption. Each action we take, each dollar we raise, each hand we extend, these are the things that will help Ukrainians' Jewish community survive and thrive. And so I ask you to keep these individuals, these families in your thoughts, and keep everything that you're doing in your power to help support them. Because our efforts are more than just a response to a crisis. They are an affirmation of our enduring bond with every Jew wherever they live around the globe. Thank you for being here, thank you for standing together, and thank you above all for your chesed and your compassion. Together we can bring hope, even in the darkest of times, to those who need it most. It is now my honor and pleasure to introduce Annie Sandler, President of the American Joint Distribution Committee, the world's leading Jewish humanitarian organization. Annie has been deeply involved in the rebirth of Jewish life in Romania and has been honored by its government and its Jewish community. Also, as a strong supporter of Israel, Annie has helped bolster the Jewish state's social service sector for more than 2 decades. Please join me in welcoming Annie Sandler to the stage.
Thank you, David, and thank you all. Good morning. This year has been marked by extraordinary needs, but it has also been marked by extraordinary leadership. While I stand here today as the president of JDC, I am also a proud, endowed Lion of Judah and leader of the United Jewish Federation of Tidewater. My leadership represents the incredible collaboration across Jewish organizations, the collaboration that makes the impact we see possible. Today, your leadership provides more help to the Jewish world than at any other time since World War II. And JDC proudly serves as the boots on the ground, aiding hundreds of thousands of people touched by far-reaching crisis. In Israel, our social service programs help more than 1 million vulnerable Israelis every week. And in this past year of the war, we have directly aided more than 450,000 of the hardest hit Israelis, like Aharon and Tamara, an elderly couple that live in Kiryat Bialik. Aharon is permanently connected to an oxygen machine, and they cannot leave their home during a rocket attack. They rely on JDC caseworkers to care for them and our critical first aid supplies to ensure their safety. The supplies include flashlights, chargers, radios, and a whistle that they need for emergency attention when at all possible, just like this one. And of course, our work extends to 70 countries around the world, all the way to Ukraine, where for decades we have been aiding the neediest Jews and building Jewish identity. When the world calls, we answer. And just like the whistle for Aharon and Tamara, it is all of you in this room today who ensure that we can continue to be the voice for the voiceless and that we can call attention where it's most needed. I'd like for you all to meet Anastasia, one of 50,000 Ukrainians who have endured and survived the devastating conflict, thanks to your support.
Few hours ago, before we started our recording, there was an explosion really not far from the office, and some people died. This is what we experience every day in Ukraine: economic instability, damaged infrastructure, and limited resources. Some people don't have basic services like electricity, water, food. Especially in winter, these challenges are extremely hard because the most vulnerable people are old ones. During the second week of the conflict, my family forced me to leave. It's been exactly 2 years since I returned to Ukraine, and I have never regretted this decision. There are times when I'm afraid for my life, but I love what I do. We remain committed and will not give up.
Over the past 2 years, the Jewish world mobilized, quickly delivering food, medicine, and fuel to over 52,000 elderly and vulnerable Jews in Ukraine. But each day, more people fall in poverty as prices skyrocket, and for many, the work we do, their only hope for survival. When the crisis in Ukraine began, it was all of you who stepped in. It was your leadership that allowed people to evacuate to safer areas, that sent buses across borders. And while I helped families as they boarded those buses, offering a hand to hold, a smile of hope, it was you making it possible. This ongoing support has come to mean so much more than shelters and food. It means that people have food and winter clothing, allowing them to survive, to live in safety and dignity despite the unrelenting crisis. Our JCC and youth programs are not only providing physical safety, but also creating spaces where people can celebrate their Judaism, hope, and learn. And even during a war with Jewish federations behind us, we have achieved that once felt impossible in Ukraine, being Jewish in Ukraine. And Jewish community programs give us strength and purpose that sustains us even explosions shake our streets and our daily lives. And the conflict endures, winters grow colder, and life in Ukraine becomes more precarious. I ask you to remember us. We may not be in headlines, but we're still here, living, working, supporting each other. On behalf of everyone still in war zone in Ukraine, we thank you, and we ask, please remember us. Thank you.